Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Lala. It's just me today. I want to just kind of share something with you guys. A moment that I had while I was in the tub the other day, and randomly a song came on, and it's called "Gracefully Broken" by Tasha Cobbs. I love Tasha Cobbs. Her voice is amazing. For those of you that don't know, Tasha Cobbs is a gospel singer, and she just really deep, and she kind of pulls on your emotional and your spiritual strings, and every time she gets me somehow, some way, to where I kind of just release all the worry, negativity out of me, and I restart like my life in a way. But I wanted to share something with you. So I was in a tub, and the song comes on, "Gracefully Broken," and just the beginning of the song, it made me think about something. So I want to ask you guys to listen to the beginning of the song. I'm gonna play it for you, and I want you to let me know what you hear and what sticks out to you the most. That will break you to position you, break you to promote you, and break you to put you in your right place. But when he breaks you, he doesn't hurt you. He doesn't. When he breaks you, he doesn't destroy you. He does it with grace. Anybody been gracefully broken? Thank you, Lord. Thank you. So, Father, tonight we're broken before you. Thank you for handling us with grace. Just give you worship right there in this moment. And before it gets any more deep into the song, you guys can definitely go and listen to it on your own, or I'll put the link below. But just from what you heard, what is something that stuck out to you? If anything did. If anything did, that's fine. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share with you my experience and what stuck out to me. So, you just reiterating what she said. She says, God will break you to position you, break you to promote you, and break you to put you in your right place. But when he breaks you, he doesn't destroy you. He does it with grace. And she says, anybody been gracefully broken? So those words right there really stuck out to me. And I started thinking about something. And I was like, wow, this is really something that needs to be shared. So here we go. I came up with the phrase or the sentence that you have to be broken in order to be built. And it might sound a little weird or incorrect, but it's so right. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you have to be broken in order to be built. It's just the way of life. And I'm going to explain why. So, I have an analogy for you. Imagine you're at the beach, right? And when you're a kid, you're at the beach and you love to build sandcastles. Kids always build sandcastles. So imagine this: you're at the beach and you're by the shore, and I give you about square foot of sand to build your castle on. This is all you have. This is the only area you have to build your castle on, your sand castle. Okay, so what do you need to build sandcastle? You have your pail, you have your shovel, right? So here's your pail. All right, and say my hand is the shovel. So you get all the sand, scoop it up in there. It has to be wet a little bit, right? So it can form. So exactly how the pail is. So you get the wet sand, you pack it in there as much as you can, push it down as high as you can, fill the top, then you wipe off the excess sand, right, into the mold of the pail. And now that you want to start to build your castle, you have this square foot of sand or area that I give you, and you have your pail with your sand in it, and you quickly turn it over, right? And you might do a little patting, might, so the sand just disconnects from the pail when you lift it up. And so when you take your pail, and you're slowly lifting it up, as you admire how well it took to the pail and how every intricate detail of the pail is now in the sand, and you lift it up. And here's your castle. And it's great, it's perfect, it's exactly what you wanted, right? And that's what you built. In order to build that, you needed to have flat surface, right? Because you can't build a castle on bumpy sand. It has to be flat, it has to be nice and smooth, right? All right, so now the water, because you're by the shore, remember, the water is coming up, and as the tide rises, the water comes up higher and higher without you even noticing, and it slowly starts to kind of chip away at your castle. And the dirt or the sand is kind of, dissolving into your surface, into the surface, and your sandcastle just kind of starts to break down, until the bottom of it is kind of pretty much out. And now it's not complete. It's not what you wanted anymore. So you're like, dang, I gotta make another castle. That one's broken. So you move back a little bit. You take your little quarter foot of area of sand, and you move it back a little bit. He's like, I'm gonna build a castle a little bit further back, like up on the beach. Okay. Do the same thing. Get the sand, the wet sand, put it in there, pack it in there, just wipe it off, make sure it's all good. You got your slate, your clean slate again, right? It's smooth, it's nice and flat. You quickly turn it over so nothing falls out. Everything's intact, everything's good. And you lift it up slowly, and this time you're getting pretty good at it. So just kind of lift it up, take it off. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's what I want. That's perfect. There's your castle. Same thing, but it's further up, right on the beach. And as you leave it there in its perfectness, kind of get distracted. Maybe you go somewhere or talking to somebody. I don't know. But anyway, the tide is moving up. It's getting later on in the day. Tide is moving up, does the same thing, chips away at your sandcastle. And then your castle slowly starts to dwindle down. It's taking the foundation out of the bottom of your sandcastle, and so the top starts to kind of cave in. And you're like, dang, not again, not the tide coming in again and wiping it all out. So what do you do in order to build another sandcastle? You gotta break the last one. You gotta knock it down, because this is all you have. This is all you have. This is your life. This is your life. This is you. Okay? This is your life. You are the sandcastle. Pay attention. I'm about to tell you. You have to ruin the last sandcastle to have that clean slate to build another sandcastle, right? And as the water brushes up and it chips at your sandcastle, that starts to break down. So you wipe that one off. You broke it. You broke it. You wiped it away. It's gone, right? And you built another one. And then it happens again. But you move up. You move up on the beach. You move up further away from the water. Less water, so it's not breaking the castle down anymore. But as you turn your back and you get distracted, the water moves up some more. So you got to move back, and you move further and further and further up the beach until there is no more water and it cannot touch you anymore, but you still have this clean slate. So let's get into literal sentence and what I mean. How does this compare to us? You might be asking, Lala, what do you mean? Can you explain? I'm not really following here. Let me explain. So this clean slate is your life, right? The sand that you packed inside this pail, you put in here, it's you. You're the sandcastle. So you lift it up like you did, as you did the last 3 times. Took it off. And you're good. You're whole. your beautiful castle. You're molded exactly how you wanted to mold yourself. Everything's going good for you. And then here comes the water, the tide, the distraction coming in, chipping away. Could be family, toxicity, relationship, friends, drama. Could be yourself, could be your thoughts, self-destructing. Okay? That's coming, that chipping away at your castle. So then, what did you do? You wiped it away because it was chipping away. That's not what you wanted. It's not perfect. It's not the mold that you wanted for yourself. You know? So you moved it back. You moved it back, you moved up on the beach. Okay? So now it's less water, it's less distraction, it's less toxicity, it's less arguments and drama. And you do it again. You know, I'm building myself up again. I'm building myself up to fit this perfect mold that I want for myself. And I'm gonna keep doing it. But it's getting better because I'm getting away from the drama. I'm going up the beach. You know, I'm not so much on the shore, not so much where all the water is, and all the messiness is, all the mud. Where everybody wants to be. Everybody wants to be on the shore. Everybody wants to put their feet in the sand and the water, you know, but you decided, hey, I'll move up, get away from the water. I learned my lesson. Less and less drama, the more I build myself up. So the like in the beginning when I said you must be broken in order to be built. You must be broken in order for God to build you again. And what do you think that means? You must be broken in order to be built again. You must be broken in order to be built again. And that's the cycle of life, honestly, because in anything, say you're a child and you learn to crawl and then you learn to walk. But in order to learn to walk, you must crawl first. And the first time you stand up, you fall down, but then you stand up again. That's what it starts with first. First you stand up. And you get knocked down, you fall. You don't have the balance yet. You don't really know how to use your toes. When you feel yourself going forward, you don't know to put your toes down and kind of lean back a little bit so you can stand straight up. You don't know that yet, but you learn. The more you fall, the more you stand, right? So then you get to standing down, okay? Then you take your first steps. Your first step, you fall. Second step, you fall. And you might have a little support from family. Your mom holding your arms up, you know, you just got your legs moving. That's that support. But even as children, we are broken until we're built, until we learn how to walk. That falling is a lesson. That's kind of symbolizes us being broken because we had what we wanted. We stood up, then we kind of broke down because we had to fall. We don't have our balance yet. And then we learn how to stand and we're going to walk and we're broken down. We just keep getting up, we keep going. And it's like that through life. Spiritually, this is the most important for me. Spiritually, you're broken down in order to be built. How do you know that you can go through what you're going through right now if you didn't go through what you went through in the past? Because you learned, because you were broken and God had to wipe that away. And you had this clean slate and he started to build you again and again and again. And then later on in life, something happens. You know, maybe you go through some toxic relationships or you just feel like something just keeps coming at you, just like the tide of the waves is getting higher and higher, and it just comes. And maybe it doesn't keep inching up. Maybe it just comes and just wipes everything out, your whole castle. It just wipe your whole sand castle out. And just like, I'm broken again. Why am I broken again? Why? And God said, it's okay. That's all right. Let's move up. Let's move up on the beach. I got your clean slate right here. Let's go ahead. Let's build you another sandcastle. Perfect. And you're happy. You know, that's the highs. That's the highs. And then you get the lows. When here comes the tide again. Maybe it's chipping at it. Your sandcastle just dwindling down. You're like, not again, God, not again. But you know you've been here before. You've been lower on that shore. You've been closer to the water, closer to the toxicity, closer to the negative thoughts, closer to the self-doubt, closer to the shameful words from family, closer to the physical and the mental abuse and the verbal abuse. You've been closer. And now you're moving up. It's not as much, but it's something, and it still hurts. It's still hard. But you're still able to move up away from less of it. The more you move up, the further you are away from all that has broken you down before. Emotionally, it's okay to cry. Those emotions that you have built inside. Me personally, I'm the type that I kind of just hold everything in, and it's been like that since I was a child. I just hold everything in, and one day, it'd be the smallest thing too. Something just takes me off, and I explode. Explode. Not explode in anger, but with frustration. I explode with emotions. And it could be the smallest thing. But because I kept everything bottled inside, it's like this water bottle. Because I kept everything bottled inside, all my emotions and stuff were poured in there. Instead of letting it out, instead of just letting it fall and just drip, I just put it in a container, put some more in there, and I hurry up and close the lid, put it aside, put those emotions aside. Something else happened. God, open the bottle, pour some more water in there. Like, why did you do that? You pissed me off. I can't believe you would say that about me. Why would you come here with that? Put it aside. And then eventually, I wish I had some more water, but eventually the water spilled up to the top. And then it starts to overflow. And I try to put the top on, and the water is spilling out, and that's my emotions is coming out. And I try to close it as much as I can, but the pressure from my feelings and from my emotions just squeezing the bottle, it's twisting the bottle, and the pressure just top comes off. I explode with emotions. And everything is just and I'm crying, and I'm mad. I don't know what I'm mad at. Why? Why don't I know what I'm mad at? Why am I angry? I don't know why I'm angry. How come I don't know why I'm angry? Because something, all the way at the bottom of the bottle, I don't remember. Because I put it in this bottle years ago, or months ago. I put it in this bottle months ago. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that made me so mad. Something that I should have confronted somebody about. Something that irked me, bugged me to the core. I didn't say anything about it. Why? Because I would rather just put it away and bottle it inside and learn my lesson. And I'm still working on it to this day. But all the things that I poured into this bottle now become one. And then they come and they explode. And there's my emotions. And there's times where I've cried myself to sleep and not knowing why. I remember one or two things. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, Lala. You shouldn't be crying over that. You shouldn't be that frustrated, girl. It's not that big of a deal. And later I figured myself out and I said, you're not just crying because of that. You're not just crying because of the issues you had as a young girl. You're not just crying because of the injury. You're not just crying because of what you've been trying to do. You're not just crying because of the complications that you face in life. You're crying because you bottled it inside. You're crying because you didn't let it go. Why didn't you let it go? I don't know. But now I do. Now I know. And why? Why? I was crying because I didn't allow God to create for me a clean slate. I didn't rebuild my castle. Instead, I was broken and I tried to add another castle on top of another castle, and there was never any balance. There was never any beauty in that. There was never any stability or form to what I was trying to build until I noticed, hey, stupid, you gotta break, break it, break it, scream, let it out. Let your emotions show. Right now, I'm crying because this is what I'm doing exactly. I'm letting my emotions show. Had it been a couple years ago, I would just have a straight face and there wouldn't be any passion in my voice. There wouldn't be any realness in this conversation. And you wouldn't feel me how you feeling me now. But I know now. It took me a long time. I'm 26 years old. Some people still struggle with this, and this is why I'm sharing it. Because you have to let those emotions out. You have to let God give you a clean slate. You have to be able to breathe. Take your time. And this is just all that life is teaching me. It's a beautiful thing. It's hard to talk about sometimes. You know, sometimes I want to sleep. I cried so much that my throat hurt and my eyes are red. And I noticed that I'm a silent crier because nobody told me this. But growing up, to me, if I cry, that symbolizes weakness. I'm being very transparent with you guys. I've never shared this before. So I grew up telling myself, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. You look weak. Don't cry, you look weak. I don't know if that's just something that the Black community adopts as a thought process. I wasn't taught this. My mom she never said that. She actually embraced us showing our emotions. There's times when my mom, I was so hard. I was so hard. There's times where I was so, my heart was so cold and I was hard-headed, hard-hearted as well. There's times, 13, 14, 15, where my mom would force me to come and give her a hug. She would force me, come lay down with me. Let me hold you. Let me hug you. And those are times you don't really get along much, but I'm so thankful that she did that because I was bottling things in. And when she held me, even though I was so hard, I was so tough for no reason. And every time she held me, my emotions would come out a little bit. They come out a little bit. The top of my body would be open just a little bit, not all the way. I just opened a little bit to where only some water would come out. You know, that was a little bit of emotion, and that was her holding me, and she was releasing those emotions out of me, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling because I would cry sometimes a little bit, and she didn't know. She never knew because I'd hide it really well. So now she knows. But yeah. So when she would force me to go and give her a hug and lay with her, times I'd fall asleep in her arms, and I'd feel comforted. Or there's other times where I'm like, okay, and I just get up and I go back to my bottle of emotions that I put away, far away. And I'm now back to who I was, even though a little bit spilled out, but it wasn't all of it. But later on, all of it comes out. All of it comes out. And there were times, it's not just one bottle that I filled in my life, not just one bottle of emotions I filled in my life. There's times where I filled it up to the top and the pressure made it explode, and here comes all the emotions, and now it all pours out. And I feel good now, but I didn't know what I was doing. So it kind of just all started all over again. But back to the point. Now I know I have to let God break me in order to have a clean slate, in order to be built back again, to be built on a higher level, away from the tide coming in, away from the negativity, self doubt, the pressures, the opinions of others, away from that, higher on the hill. And that's what I'm doing now. I mean, I've been doing that spiritually in order to allow God to break you. What do? Surrender. Surrender everything to God. You don't know how, you just say it. What have you been going through? God, I surrender to you everything. You don't want to say it, lift your hands, just open your hands. And this is a sign of surrendering, you know? Even back to times of war and all that, even now, boys say, put your hands up, surrender. I don't have anything else to give. I don't have anything I'm going to put out of my pockets. Surrender. So when you're surrendering to God, just do this. Just do this. And find peace and let those emotions flow. Because eventually the pressure is going to make this bottle of emotions explode, and that's not healthy at all. Trust me. So surrender. Surrender everything. Surrender your thoughts. Surrender your ways. Surrender your bad habits. Anything you want to give up, surrender. Whether it's smoking or partying or gossiping or overeating or not being disciplined enough. For me, I surrender procrastination. It's something I struggle with. But I get it done. I just want to be a better me. So I'm doing it right now. I surrender everything in front of you. God, I surrender procrastination. This is me personally. I surrender self-doubt. I surrender overthinking. I surrender distractions to you. And I breathe and I repent. I cast my cares. It's another part of surrendering. You cast your cares to God. Everything you care about, cast them, give them to Him. That's what it is. It's a way of surrendering. Great. And allow Him to move you up the hill. Wipe your slate clean and build you a bigger, better castle. Because it's not saying in the Bible, my body is a temple. Does not. So I'm not big on, being religious. And the Bible says this, so we must do this. No, I'm real. I'm really real, and I'm spiritual, and I definitely have a relationship with God. So I'm just sharing my experience with you guys. So the end of this whole thing, just create in your head this visual one last time. We're going to go through it really quickly. So start at the bottom, right? Clean slate. What does God do? He builds you. Sandcastle. Builds that sandcastle. Beautiful. Molded, just like the pail. Exactly what I wanted. Molded, exactly what I wanted, right? Things don't go your way. The tide comes up. Here comes people talking in your ear. Negativity, fighting, arguing, verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. Everything that you don't want just coming, hitting at it. It's breaking down. It's getting limp. It's gone. But there's still some debris, still some pieces there left on that slate, right? So God's like, okay, you surrendered, you repented, you casted your cares, let me move you up. Move you up the beach. Move you up the beach, okay? The tide's still gonna get you though. It's still gonna get you. What you gotta do? What do you have to do? You got to have a stronger castle. Whatever you got to do that. I don't know if you want to put some pebbles in the pail, put some shells in there, whatever to make it stronger is what you have. Less water, maybe. Maybe it doesn't need to be that way. To make it mold, so when it dries, it's solid. Maybe that's what you need to do. But even then, too much water, too much toxicity, too much people in your ear, too much self-doubt still breaks it down eventually over time. So then you call to God, God, please help me, pouring out my everything to you. I give you everything. I trust you. I love you. This is yours. This is my life, but it's yours. I'm yours. I belong to you. Please take it from me. Tell me what to do. It's okay. I got you. Let me take your square foot of land, your square foot of sand. I'm gonna move it up the beach, away from the water, away from the water. And you're like, okay, I'm away from the water. I'm ready. I got a clean slate. Let's go. I emptied everything out. I'm ready to be built again. I was broken. I'm ready to be built. I'm good. So does it again. Put something else in there to make it a little stronger. Turns it over. Out. It's a masterpiece. In. Right when it lifts that pail up, and you see the beautifulness of who you are, who you're becoming, how far you've come. You look down at the beach, and you see the shore, you see the water so far away. I'm like, oh, this is not going to touch me now. I'm up on the hill. I'm up on the hill on the beach. They can't touch me now. Maybe it's not water this time. Maybe it's not the ocean that comes from the bottom. It's you. Maybe it starts to rain on that beautiful sunny day at the beach. Things start to hit you from here, from the top of the castle. And the sand just starts falling down. And the castle is no longer molded how it's supposed to be molded. You're like, God, it's happening again. It's happening again. I'm lasting longer, but it's happening again. What can I do? Help me. So then, what do? Empty yourself out. Clean that slate. And he does it again and again and again. And why does he clean your slate? What is that called when he cleans your slate? He's not just knocking it down, tearing everything up. No. What was the song called by Tasha Cobbs? The song is called Gracefully Broken. He gracefully breaks you, wipes everything out to the side, builds you again, moves you up the beach, builds you again, moves you up, builds you again, moves you up, builds you again, moves you up, builds you again. And maybe it's not the water anymore, maybe it's the rain. Maybe it's not the rain, maybe it's the clouds because it's gloomy outside. Things don't look how they used to look. You might be going through a dark time. It's only gray clouds outside, you know? And now, something else. It's always something. It's always something. It's always something. And this is the cycle of life. It's always something. Always something. Let's go back to the analogy of being a baby. It's always something. We start from kids, you know, crawling. Then we stand up. We get knocked down. Then we start walking. Okay. Now we want to start running. We can't run correctly. We don't know how to move our feet quick enough. But we see other people doing it. Sarah oldest siblings doing it. Eventually we get that down. Now we're running. We want to learn how to ride a bike. Start with training wheels. You might fall and take the training wheels off. But then eventually you get that balance. You go and you ride and you ride. And you keep going. You go as fast as you can. You know. And now you're an adult. Turn around and look. It's like, well, where did I go? I'm an adult now. And it's like, now you have big girl problems, big boy problems. Like your job. You want it so bad. This was for you. You wanted this job so bad. But you got denied. So, okay, I'll go for another job. You get denied there. Or for another job, you might get denied there. You might be close to homelessness. You might be close to not eating as much as you want to some days. Or you have to borrow money. Maybe you're in debt. And that's the tide that's coming up. And it's destroying that castle. You know, everything, all the negativity coming up, destroying your castle. And you're like, God, please help me. I've been struggling for years. When am I going to be built again? When can I be rebuilt? I've been breaking down. How much more can I break? Help me. But you have to allow him to help you. You can't do everything by yourself. You might be trying to go somewhere. Let's say there's 10 levels in life, right? You might try your best and do everything you got to do to get to level 5 because you think that's the top. And really, that's only halfway there. God might have something planned for you at level 8. But you think you got it. You think you can do it. You do everything on your own time. You don't reach out. You don't ask God for help. You don't pray. You don't repent. You don't empty yourself out. You bottle everything, all your emotions in here. Many times you went through so many bottles that have exploded. So many emotions bottled up that have exploded. And it's just a cycle of pain and torture, self-doubt and manipulation. It's a cycle and you're tired of it. Why? Because you're trying to do this by yourself. That's why. You're trying to do this by yourself. And you don't ask God for help. You know, when you're a kid, you try to open that big old jar of pickles, and your hand isn't big enough yet. You hold with one arm, you trying to, but your palm can't even grip the lid. Mom, can you open this for me? Mama got you. Here you go. Because her hand's big enough. It's another analogy, you know, like this, but a jar of pickles. And your hand ain't big enough to open them. And so what God does, he takes that jar of pickles. When you ask, he takes that jar of pickles from you. He opens it. And you get what you want, right? So I say that to say that you always are going to need help. No matter how far in life you are, you're always going to need to empty yourself out. You're always going to need a clean slate. You're always going to need to be rebuilt, and you're always going to need to be broken. It never gets easier. It may seem like it. Life is never going to get easier to fight. You're just going to get stronger. You're just going to learn how to fight harder. But that's only if you allow God to gracefully break you so you can be built again. And at the end of the story of you building your sandcastle and moving further and further and further back up the beach, away from the tide, away from the rain, maybe, away from the gloomy days, maybe it's like that for a week or a year or 2 years. Maybe things are going pretty good. You got little things nicking at your castle, but your castle is no longer sand. Maybe now your castle is stone. Maybe it can't be broken by water. Maybe it can't be broken by rain. Maybe it won't be affected by the gloominess or the grayness that the clouds bring. But there's always going to be something there that's going to nip at you. Something that's going to try to destroy that castle. And you just have to rely on God. That's it. That is it. So when you make it to the top of the beach and you're away from the water, as I was saying, you see this beautiful view. You see more of the beach. You see the water. You see the waves, hit the rocks. You see the people enjoying themselves. You see your life. You see your past. And you, most importantly, see how far you've come up that hill. how far you've climbed, how many times you've had to get that slate wiped clean, how many times you've been broken, how many times you had to be rebuilt, and how many times you have succeeded. But as I said, gracefully broken, you must be broken in order to be rebuilt, and there's nothing wrong with being broken. There's nothing wrong with releasing your emotions. There's nothing wrong with telling people how you feel. There's nothing wrong with saying no. Nothing wrong with not caring what people think about you. That's you finding yourself, finding what you're about, finding what you serve as a person, and what your purpose is. If I ask you this question, what's your purpose? Why are you here? Everybody was made for a reason. You're not here for no reason. Why are you here? Could you answer? Maybe, maybe not. Some people can. Some people just say, hey, I don't know yet. I'm trying to find out. Some people say, my purpose is to help others. My purpose is to uplift others. What about you? So what are you here to do for you? It's not always about others. It's not always about helping other people, because you must know how to help yourself before you can help somebody else. If you were stuck in a hole and another person were stuck in a hole, and you say your purpose is to help them, but you need help too. How do you help yourself? What do you do? Do you gather the rocks that are in that hole with you and build steps and get out? Do you build a ladder somehow out of the sand? Do you out of the dirt? What do you do? Do you dig holes in the wall so you can climb up? What do you do in order to help that person? You got to help yourself. How do you do that? How do you do that? Empty yourself out. How do you do that? Repent. Get that slate wiped clean. And that's how you help yourself. That's how you do it, because keeping things bottled inside is only going to cause you more pressure. It's only going to cause you more hurt. So I challenge you, to the people that you have some type of ought against. Some people that just did you wrong. Like, never in my life will I talk to this person again. Never in my life will I forgive them. You need to forgive them. Forgive them, not for them. You don't have to say, hey, I forgive you. Just wanted to talk to you and say I forgive you. They might not care. No, forgive them for you. Forgive them for your mental stability. Forgive them for your emotional journey, for your emotional lessons, for your future. Forgive them for you. You hurt me. You did this to me. All I wanted to do was help you. All I wanted to do was see if you were okay. All I wanted to do was be your support system, and you did me dirty. I'll never forgive you in my life. Don't forgive them for them. Forgive them for you. Okay? So then you can get that slate wiped clean, get you a new castle, move up the beach, and enjoy the view. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Listen to that song, Gracefully Broken by Tasha Cobbs. You'll probably understand more of what I'm talking about. But just know, you're never going to be unbreakable. Something's going to chip away. But you can always be rebuilt. You can always get renovations on your castle. You know, you might not have to be broken all the way. Maybe it's just the right side that needs to be rebuilt, but you're still being rebuilt. You're still different now. You're new now. Okay, so one last thing, I've learned that everybody goes through something, and everybody has a struggle, and you might be going through your struggle now, or your struggle might be right around the corner. And if it is, remember this: 2 words: embrace the struggle. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the struggle. Why? You would want to embrace the happiness, wouldn't you? You would want to embrace the success. You would want to celebrate the success. Well, you can't really celebrate the struggle, but embrace it. Hey, you know, I've fallen before. I've been hurt before. I've bottled up my emotions before. I've exploded before. I've been angry before. Frustrated before. I've even wanted not to live before. But I am embracing the struggle. I'm embracing my journey. Why? Because I'm going to embrace my success. I'm going to look back one day and say, hey, I went through that. And it hurt. It hurt so bad. But look at me now. Now we can laugh about it. Now we can laugh about it. But back then it wasn't funny at all. Back then it wasn't funny at all. Contemplated giving up. Contemplated not going back to where I was. I'm not talking about me in general. I'm not talking about me personally. I'm talking generally. This can be anybody's thoughts, you know. So really just embrace where you are right now. And if you want, compare it to where you've been. Look what you have now. Don't stop complaining so much about this and that. Be thankful for what you have. Instead of complaining, be thankful for what you have. Stop talking about what you don't have. Stop talking about what you want. Look at what you have. Look how far you've come. And if you're struggling, embrace it. Okay? So you guys, that all came from Tasha Cobb's song while I'm sitting in the tub thinking about life. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Because, hey, I might need to watch this video one day in the future. And I just might need to remind myself, embrace the struggle and be okay with being broken because you need to be rebuilt. The whole world is evolving. We evolve every single day, every single week, every single month, every year. We evolve. That 2002 Honda, in 2002, it was hot, wasn't it? It's the nicest thing out there at that time. But now we in 2023, that Honda ain't worth nothing. Nobody want that Honda. And just like now, 2023, what's the newest car out? I don't know, Tesla. Yeah, everybody wants a Tesla. 2023, why wouldn't you want a Tesla? Drives by itself, does this, does that, and you gotta do nothing. But in 2043, ain't nobody gonna want no 2023 Tesla. Never know what's gonna happen. So enjoy what you have while you have it. And when you elevate, when you move on, look back and say, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for taking me through this. I wouldn't know how strong I was if I didn't go through the struggle. I wouldn't know how far I can go unless I was pushed to my limit. Didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know I could multitask until I was given multiple tasks. You know? So allow God to use you and allow yourself to be open and be honest with yourself. And be honest with people. Like I said earlier, do not be afraid to say no. And you don't have to explain yourself. You don't. If you don't want to go somewhere, I'm not going. Why? I'm just not. But why? I said no. That's why. I said, you gotta explain yourself. I picked that up too. About a year or so ago. It's so much easier. Life is so much easier. I don't have to explain anything. I don't know you an explanation. There's an answer. You're lucky you got that. You know. So you guys, that's it. And I hope you took something from this little broadcast. And embrace your struggle at all times. It's okay to be broken because it's definitely okay to be built. You never know where you're going. You never know what God has planned for you. So instead of saying, God, I want this, I want that, no, God, what do you want for me? I want what you want for me. Because clearly He wants the best for you. You don't know what the best is for you. You don't know the world. You don't know what's going on. He wants the best for you. So instead of saying, I want this, I want that, God, your will be done. I want what you want for me. And you will get the best out of life. Promise. Have a good day, guys. Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay grounded.